Hey there, my name is Jeremy Scrimager. I'm an artist in Somerset, Kentucky, South Central Kentucky, Lake Cumberland, and I have recently partnered with Kentucky Hemp Works out of Hoptown, I do believe. If I get that wrong, Katie just corrected for me, to do a tutorial, a promo, an educational video on one of the many uses of hemp seed oil, and that is as a drying agent and a lubricant in oil paint. Oil painting traditionally is incredibly slow drying. It has a lot of positive properties, a lot of things you can do with oil paint that traditionally you've not been able to do with other media such as acrylic, watercolor. But one of the downsides is you have incredibly slow drying times, which slows down the process of painting immensely. And in our current day and age, most folks don't have the time or the dedication to sit down and spend a lot of time in that classical style of painting. So what I want to do is to demonstrate one of the many versatile uses of hemp seed oil as a way to expedite that process, as a way to speed up the drying, as a way to thin the paint, to allow for quicker blending, to allow for more immediate layer building. And I'll start out by just kind of demonstrating. Let me grab a brush here. I'm going to start out by demonstrating sort of how thick oil paint is just in its natural. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to get a little bit of this ochre color here. You can see it on the brush there. It's incredibly thick. And when I put it on the canvas, for the most part, it's gonna kind of just spread almost the same way peanut butter would spread. Now these are rough brushes, so you're gonna see a lot of those brush marks coming through there. So you can kind of see that that's got a real thickness to it that kind of limits the spread, and that's going to take forever to dry. But what I've done is I've poured some Kentucky hemp seed hemp oil here in a little container, and I'm just going to dip my brush straight into it. I'm going to go back to my ochre color. I'm going to pad both sides of my brush. I'm going to get that to a nice consistency on both sides of the brush, and then I can come in and I can work much more fluidly in that same space, and accomplish the same effect of coloring the area without sort of that viscous quality of oil paint. I can thin that down, get that as even as possible, and then I can go in. I can switch shades. Get a brighter shade of yellow here. Again, we're just going to work with that same brush, because one of the positives of using hemp seed oil in oil painting is because it's thinner, you can transition between colors much easier. We're just going to go in and sort of brighten that up a little. You go in here and get a little white. And again, we're not cleaning our brush just yet. We kind of just want to get some gradients and some variance and shading taking place. And what that hemp seed oil is allowing me to do is that hemp seed oil is allowing me to thin this paint to a much easier consistency and texture to work with. What oil paint traditionally does is it's a polymer. It bonds to a surface, and using the hemp seed oil allows that process of polymerization to happen much more quickly. It expedites, it speeds that up. So again, we're not going to accomplish anything major here today. We're just going to do a simple little painting. But you can see how I'm able to build and blend and highlight. I go back into my hemp seed oil and just try to get a little bit more white out of that. And again, we're still working with oil. You're still getting that texture, that body of oil. We're thinning it out to make it spread a little easier. I'm going to put that brush in the paint thinner there. And essentially what we're doing is we're still getting that finished look of oil. We're able to speed the process up so that I can work faster, I can work cleaner, and I'm able to use less paint, which is important. Oil paint traditionally is pretty expensive. I'm going to come down here and just grab another brush while that other one is in there. I don't want to take up a lot of your time today. I just kind of wanted to show you guys one of the many uses of hemp seed oil. Thanks to our friends again at Kentucky Hemp Works for sending us a jug to experiment with, to do a little art science. Oh man, I'm going to come up in here. I'm going to get a little green. This is bright green, grass green. And again, we're not going to accomplish anything major here today. We're just going to enjoy painting. And also, I like to extol to anyone that will listen the value of just paint something or draw something. Just pick up, a pencil or a paintbrush or any media, colored pencils, markers, and just allow yourself to have a little fun right now, The world is an incredibly uncertain place. There are incredibly uncertain things taking place. We don't know what the future is going to look like, so it's good to have stress relief, man. And if I can, through this, can give you an avenue for stress relief, whether it's through watching this video or whether it's through, your own painting, that's what we're here for, man. We've all got to help each other through this. It's part of it. Obviously, we're just going to do some simple flowers here on a dry canvas. I didn't prep this canvas, it's just raw. But you can see how much quicker and how much more fluid the flow of this oil paint is. Again, with just a little bit of hemp seed oil, thanks to our friends at Kentucky Hemp Works. I'm going to take some of that green, and I want to darken it up a little bit, so I'm going to come back over here to my ochre. Again, with a really good lubed up brush. Come over here and borrow some of this blue. I just want to get a darker shade of green. Love that sound. Love the sound of paintbrush scraping on the surface. And we're not going to paint the Sistine Chapel this way, but it's allowing us to use a traditionally slow drying, slow working media in a much faster capacity. Just to, and you can still create a lovely image, still create something that aesthetically looks good. I'm going to rinse this brush out a little in my paint thinner. I'm going to get a sip of my Jar Fly Ball Hoot IPA. And I'm going to give a shout out to Lacey Hilliard at Wandering Elm Photography in downtown Somerset, who's currently shooting this. Thank you, Lacey, for taking time out of your day to help with this project. All right, back at it. Going to go back over into our ochre. Again, we're keeping our brush really, really wet, really well worked with that hemp seed oil, and it's just allowing us to work faster, to blend better, to get a more fluid performance and response out of our paint itself. Because again, oil paint, incredibly thick. It's almost like peanut butter. It's almost like you're painting with a jar of peanut butter. It has that same sort of consistency to it. So we're just going to keep working on our little flowers we're building here. Again, we're just having fun, right? We're not trying to win any awards here. We're just trying to find a nice stress reliever, nice little activity to engage in. I hope that you guys have been practicing safe social distancing. I hope that you guys are healthy. I hope you're watching this from a positive and safe place in your life. I know that things are incredibly uncertain, and I hope that they shake out. But I firmly believe that partnerships like this between Kentucky Hemp Works and myself and the fine folks at Jarfly and Wandering Elm, I firmly believe that things like this are not only what make us American, not only what make us self-reliant, self-starters, but also they're what make us family. And at the end of the day, whether we want to admit it or not, we are all in this together. So it's incredibly important that we give each other space and we do things to give ourselves space, that we practice self-care, and that we do things to make sure that up here and in here we're okay. So painting is one of those things for me, and I like to extol to anyone that will listen the therapeutic benefits of painting. All right, we got a couple little flowers going here. I'm going to put that brush on the paint thinner, get another sip of beer. I recommend, if you're home and can't leave and enjoy a delicious beverage, allow yourself an extra beer or an extra glass of wine or an extra shot of bourbon. Do those things. If you partake in marijuana usage, if that's your thing, do those things, and do those things unashamedly. Whatever you need to do for yourself through this to make sure that you're okay, it is incredibly important, and you shouldn't take any shame in those things. I'm going to come over here and just grab another brush. Not really planning, I'm just kind of working. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go into my blue. This is sort of I think this is a lake blue. We're going to take it, we're going to grab some white over here, and again, we're going to keep that real good and lubed up with our hemp seed oil. I'm going to come over, and I want a much lighter shade. So I'm going to keep working that white in. Until I get a lighter shade of blue. I want more of a sky blue, a pale blue. I'm going to come in here. I'm just going to start to I'm going to put these guys in a mason jar, right? This is the South. This is moonshine country. This is a part of America and Appalachia that was built on self-reliance and resilience and the ability to really depend on oneself to make sure that your needs were met. And it's interesting that we're in the time that we're in right now, because you're really starting to see those things sort of reemerge. I'm just going to blend a little bit of that right on. Get some of that over a brush here real quick. Go back to it. No, it's now more than ever is a time for absolute self-reliance, for learning the power that lies within you. Those things are incredibly important. And I think that you're seeing a lot of folks rise to the occasion. And I hope that you're out there somewhere right now, rising to that occasion. So we're just kind of working in some blue. I hope you can hear those scrapes, man. That's my favorite sound on earth, is the sound of a paintbrush hitting a dry canvas. So we're just going to work a little bit of that on there. Need to go back in and bring our flower petals, or our flower stems down a little bit. They're kind of just hanging there in the atmosphere. Go back into our hemp seed oil and our bright green. Bring those on down. Beautiful. Go back into that deep green mix we made. And again, what the hemp seed oil is allowing us to do is to not have to go through all of the traditional technical steps of working with oil that slow the process down. We're speeding those things up because we're taking an incredibly thick paint. Obviously, you can't mix oil with water. That won't happen. But you can thin oil with a thinner oil. And hemp seed oil is the perfect thinning and drying agent for oil paints. So I'm really excited to get to play with this. Go back into my blue brush, get some of that thinner off. All right. Well, I still got a little blue on there. Come up here and try to dig out some whiter whites. And again, we can just work that right in. This thinning is allowing us to put color, to work on blends, on highlights, on lowlights. It's taking a process that is generally pretty painstaking with oil, and it's allowing us to speed that up. And I know I've said that a million times over, but just between you and me and the devil, that's the whole purpose of the video. So, come back up here and go to whites. Continue to work. Enjoy the sounds of those scrapes. Also, if you guys get a chance, I'd like for you to check out a couple of Somerset-based businesses. The first being Wandering Elm Photography in downtown Somerset, where this is currently being filmed. Jarfly Brewing, also in downtown Somerset. It's our local brewery. Daniel Stroud, Dale Stevens, and the team there do a great job of producing local beer and of producing local culture. Also, the Eclectic Turtle, Ken and Jen Hayden. It's a local trinket and treasure shop. You can find my art there, original work. Also partner with them some. Also, Serendipity at the Orange Door. It's actually right across the street from Wandering Elm here in Somerset. Sarah there has done an amazing job of building up a consignment gallery of local art, of local paintings. Those places really support, in Somerset in general, I have to give Mayor Alan Keck here and his team all the praise for doing a wonderful job of creating a sense of community in which artists feel welcome and where arts are thriving as a small business model. So I'm very fortunate and super excited to partner with you fine folks over in the West to sort of spread both awareness and knowledge of your products at Kentucky Hemp Works, and also our brands here in Somerset. If you'd like to check out my art, I don't have an Instagram because I'm a dinosaur. I have a Facebook account. My name is Jeremy Scrimager. You're welcome to check out art there. I do a little bit of everything. I do a lot of things badly, not very many things well. So, you know, I appreciate any support. It allows me to gain skill, and it allows me to connect with folks. So I appreciate it regardless. I'm just going to kind of give this a little bit of a rough edge, kind of like that unfinished look. All right. So we're going to have to get some of that off of there. Let me go over here and switch brushes. Get some of that. We had some green off there. Let's see here. Got this really fun. I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's do some. Let's go in here and just start working some petals on. And, you know, again, we're just kind of, this is Impressionism, so we're not really focused so much on line as we are on just creating movement, creating energy, creating a shape that's enjoyable, that's balanced, that's aesthetic, and we're able to speed that process up again because we're using this drying agent, this hemp seed oil. Sounds of our lovely paint scrapes. You can probably hear a little percussion when the canvas beats back. Again, painting is an active process, so there's going to be some noise, there's going to be some resistance. You're going to have those things, all part of it. I don't really know if you can see it from the video, but there's some wonderful, wonderful color blends that are happening as we're doing this, that are just kind of giving this thing a little bit more life. And again, we just want to create energy and motion. We're not trying to, you know, we're not putting the time into this to really create anything that has an overabundance of detail. This, you know, technically would, I guess, be considered a traditional impressionistic painting. One of my favorite artists, probably my favorite historical artist, Vincent van Gogh, right? I know that's an easy choice, easy to choose Sir Vincent, but you know, he had a masterful way of drawing kinetic energy out of art. So that's really just all we're trying to mimic here. Again, some wonderful paint scrape sounds for you. Enjoy that. Sometimes I find myself getting kind of lost in the process, so I apologize for the quietness. Just put it in there. Go back over here. Again, we're keeping it thin, and by keeping it thin, it's allowing us to not have to clean our brushes in between every color change. We're allowing some of these colors to just build on here, and we're just working with that. We're not altering that any more than necessary. Go here with some yellow, start to find a little light source, work a little color onto these. In there, find our white, what's left of it, there it is over here, hiding from us. Now, your palette's going to get incredibly saturated using hemp seed oil, especially if you're a sloppy painter like me. So kind of be cognizant of that and make the necessary adjustments. Continue to just work a little definition on there. And again, we're not so much focused with this on the type of brush we're using, the type of motion of stroke. We're just letting some energy out. We're creating a kinetic flow, and we're able to do that with much more fluidity and ease of motion. Again, thanks in large part to our friends at Kentucky Hemp Works and their wonderful product. Back over here, make some adjustments. Here to our green. Just want a little color in there, a little color balance. That's all we're trying to accomplish here. Into that dark green we made with our ochre and our blue. White. Come over here and just grab a brush that's more ideal for line work. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of thinner on that. I'm going to put some oil paint on there, give it a nice inky texture. And I'm just going to do a little outline. And mix that with the hemp seed oil also, give you the same effect as the paint thinner, because again, we're just trying to thin that paint. And we're just kind of giving ourselves a little definition here. Not doing anything too major. Find some line, find some wisp. Just allowing that relative thinness of the oil paint to let us work in a much more free-flowing motion. Just creating a fun little piece of folk art. like to frame things out. Big fan of the Gonzo artists, Ralph Steadman, Joey Feldman, Greg Goodwine, out of Northern Kentucky. Louisville area. Amazing Gonzo artist. I appreciate the work those gentlemen do. So I like to frame things out in that same kind of style. Alright, we'll just go in here and add a little filler to our background. Again, nothing major. This painting's probably not gonna make its way to the Louvre anytime soon. But it's been a nice experience. You know, it's been fun to enjoy this with you fine folks, wherever you're at watching this, or wherever you will be at watching this, I suppose is probably a better way of saying that. I'm just gonna put a little dirt on there, a little muddy color. And again, go back to our little line brush. Come over here, go in, and we'll sign our painting. And that's basically it. It's a real simple process, nothing too complicated. We're just working with thinning oil paint down. One of the many diverse and versatile uses of hemp seed oil, which really is in a lot of ways a miracle product. And hemp is a miracle plant. Again, thank you to our friends at Kentucky Hemp Works. Thank you to Katie for supplying us with this. We hope you all have a lovely day. And from all of us here in Somerset, goodbye.